There are very, very few communities I've gotten to know that are as accessible as Fort Wayne. A community of this size to reach out and be welcoming and inclusive for those with disabilities is unprecedented. Promenade Park was the unveiling of our river. The city was founded because of Three Rivers, but because of a great group of people coming together and saying, let's uncover this wealth. But at the same time, community leaders said, and let's make sure the park is available to everyone. And that meant bringing together focus groups, people with a variety of disabilities, and said, how can we make this park a park you'll come and visit? And they gave us some of the ideas that now help the park stand out just a little bit more. There is a cane trail that navigates the entire park. Some people say, oh, look at that feature in the concrete. It symbolizes the three rivers of our city. No, it's a cane trail. So if I have a visual impairment and use a white cane, that cane guides me through independently the park. And it's becoming, as I say, we repeat it, the brand new revisions at the airport have a cane trail so that you can find your way from the gate to baggage claim, from check-in to whatever gate you're at, that cane trail helps. The new Performing Arts Center has a cane trail throughout so that, again, I can find my way from my seat to the bathroom, from the doorway to the Performing Arts Center. Then we're also home to Turnstone, an adaptive sports venue that has hosted Paralympic teams and national, international competition. So the community recognizes disability. It's a part of how our city has grown.
The mission of Turnstone is to empower people with disabilities to achieve their highest potential. And that incorporates everything from sport, fitness, recreation, to our early learning center, to adult day services, to our therapy programs, to our memory care programs. We're one of 9 Olympic and Paralympic training sites in the United States. So that has been an outgrowth of our mission from the sport and recreation perspective. We are very pleased and proud to have the opportunity to host the World ParaVolley Sitting Volleyball World Cup, and periodically we are given the opportunity to bid on international events. This is one that really attracted our attention. We prepared the bid in partnership with Visit Fort Wayne and other community partners, and we saw this event as a continuation of our mission.
For me and the Australian team, it's really a big step for us on our journey. We have a very long-term goal of doing well at our home Olympics in Brisbane in 2032, which is a long way off. And for us, really, this is the first step in that, and getting the experience and challenging ourselves on the world stage.
It's really cool because it gets to showcase a sport that I love that's helped me develop my character, become the person that I am today in the States. It gives kind of like an eye for everyone to see it, to experience it, to join in the fun, and not only get to see us play, but also to experience other cultures, how they play, how they react. It just means growth and development for the sport as a whole, and now it gets to come home.
It's been amazing, like just watching this and everything and seeing the environment, like seeing the girls on the USA team and me just like in like, I've played with them, I play with them all the time. I see them like once a month, and it's just been amazing to see the environment and see what the highest level of sitting volleyball looks like.
Probably the one that is always a bit of a misconception is even sports like sitting volleyball or any sports that are adaptive, that it's not just for people with, say, physical disability or other disability that they might get classified in for the Paralympic Games or even like the Special Olympics, to sort of broaden our scope of conversation. Adaptive sports space, it's not just for those people. So I want people to think about it. It's not a closed off group that we're only part of. It's something that anybody can come along and be a part of and can have that experience of the exciting fast pace of sitting volleyball, or like I know here at this the Plasman Centre that there's also goalball.
My experience at Fort Wayne has been really lovely. Everybody is so sweet and kind and wanting to help. The facility is awesome. It's super accessible and adaptive. And I don't know, it feels so natural. There's a lot of competitions that we've been to or different places that we've been to where everything kind of just feels like they're trying, but it kind of seems almost like an inconvenience, to whereas here it just feels like it's for us. And not that we're a puzzle piece trying to fit into another puzzle. We're just a part of the puzzle in a different spot. Like, yeah, we're here, we're getting to play sitting volleyball, and then we just compete. You're not having to think about all of the little extras.
This venue is a good example of it's really clear to get around. It's really simple to navigate. So we don't have to make big, in other venues, we might have to go all the way around the back and through the tunnels, and because there's no way to get in the main door, as an example, or there's only stairs there, but the ramps miles. Like, it's very much like everybody could get in. There's no obstacles that like are obvious. So even in that in itself is a shout out to the accessibility that there is here.
Definitely them being accessible, like wheelchair accessible, handicap parking, like the people willing to help you. Like, it's not like if you go up to ask someone and they're like, hey, can you help me? It's like them reaching out and helping you. I just think there's adaptive, cleanest, like nicest cities. Like, you could go anywhere and I just meet the nicest people in Fort Wayne.
Tournament planners should think of Fort Wayne because we have a lot to offer. We have a niche the size of our community aligns us nicely, a certain inventory and menu of events. Obviously, here at Turnstone, we focus primarily on events for athletes with disabilities. And again, it speaks to the universal design that's taking place in the community, as well as the mindset of the community. Through the years, we have spent a lot of time, again, working with Visit Fort Wayne and AWS Foundation to do in-service trainings for the hospitality industry in the community. So when individuals are coming to Fort Wayne to compete, they're met by a receptive and friendly community that's providing Hoosier hospitality.
I think what sets Fort Wayne apart is also that we have a very accessibly sized community, that everything is pretty easy to get to and pretty easy to visit. The combination of universally designed spaces for individuals and a very well-sized footprint for visiting make us a really unique destination. So we're sitting here in the Arts United Center, which is a Louis Kahn designed performing arts center. Louis Kahn was the most prominent American architect of the second half of the 20th century. This is his one and only performing arts theater in the world. The Arts United Center recently underwent a major $42 million renovation to bring it up to today's modern standards and meet needs of audience members. And of course, that included audience members of all abilities. But we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about the audience members, but it was also about the people that perform on stage, people that work backstage, and the people that work in the building, including accessibility and consideration in design for individuals of all abilities. That meant something very different for us, and that meant including individuals with lived experiences throughout the duration of the design process. By asking at the beginning, what is it that you need? How can we incorporate those things? We were then able to really include a variety of accessibility features in the building in a way that fit with the requirements of the space use and the needs of our community. By working with local organizations like the AWS Foundation and the League, we were able to incorporate elements into the design of the
renovation and modernization of this venue that met the unique needs of members in our community. So for example, throughout the new lobby and the green room spaces and the dressing rooms, you will notice that there is a tactile cane trail that allows someone with a visual aid to be able to move about the building pretty easily. That tactile path was informed by our friends at the League, who came and helped us select the materials and the application of those things. Perhaps less obvious to visitors would be the inclusion of universally designed tables and workspaces in our community shop here for users of the scene shop and the stage technicians here. We wanted to make sure that more individuals could participate in the creation of sets and scenic design. And so the community scene shop here now has high-low tables, accessible workstations, accessible tools, and all of those things were informed by a wheelchair user who works in entertainment production. So we've incorporated a lot of things like that into the design and planning of this building. But visitors who come to Fort Wayne, who purchase a ticket to see one of the performances here, will more than likely notice that we have up to 10 accessible wheelchair seats in the auditorium. We've added new elevators. We've added a family restroom. We've added accessible locations for points of sale, like concession stand and merchandise areas. We have sensory areas for individuals in this building. And so we worked really hard to make sure that whatever door someone was coming into this building for, whatever activity they are here to participate in, that they could participate as fully as possible in a variety of ways.
I think there's a lot that sets Fort Wayne apart from other destinations. We're really excited that we were able to complete this terminal project in the short time we were able to do so. And we worked with a lot of community partners, and our community approach with all of those people, AWS Foundation, Turnstone, the League, and that really helped propel us to the point we are today with our infrastructure and hopefully future technologies and training down the road. Universal design for us means that anybody is able to use our facility depending on whatever abilities they may have. And we really want to be a place for everyone to travel through, whether it's their first time ever coming to our community or they're a resident of Northeast Indiana. Universal design came up in the early process of our design, probably back in 2018, 2019. We sat down with community leaders, with our board of directors, and it was, as we mapped out our goals and objectives, it was one of the top initiatives we wanted to complete here. We started reaching out to the community partners once again, the League, Turnstone, AWS, and they helped to help pair us with people with disabilities to travel through the facility and see which items we wanted to tackle first. The highlights of the renovation, first of all, is aesthetics. I think when you come through here, it's a fresh, clean, a lot of windows facility. We get a lot of compliments about that. I think people notice that. They notice the efficiencies that we were able to gain. Although we expanded, I don't think the average user will notice that they're walking any further than they had before. The things that people may not notice unless you're using them, maybe is our surface animal relief area, our sensory room, which is a quiet space for anybody that may need that when they're traveling, and things that they may not notice as well as, for example, a cane trail, and that really helps people that are blind and low vision that use a cane. There's little details throughout. We've really been intentional on larger signs for anybody that, once again, might have low vision, and also hearing loops in the terminal gates, so you get those PA announcements right over whatever hearing device you may have.
All the changes that we've seen in the last decade plus in the city, though, has been guided by people with disabilities. That belief that at this point in my life, I don't have a disability. I can repeat what I've known, what I've heard, but I need people with disabilities, those who are blind, those who are neurodiverse, intellectual disabilities, who use a wheelchair, to come and help with the design of spaces. I think that's been part of our success, is that inclusive, nothing about us without us perspective.
I think continued major focus on working with the community to improve the universal design and accessibility of the community for future events. Working with partners again like the airport, the arts center, just making all of our attractions more accessible and disability friendly.
In the future, we will see accessible performances of a variety of types. This renovation is opening new doors for performances in this community that we are very excited to see.
I think the future of Fort Wayne and the airport are tied together, right? So I'm very excited about the future of Fort Wayne. You see growth everywhere. I've been here for about 15 years here in Fort Wayne, and I love it. I love to see the mindset of the people and the residents here and where we're going. And the airport's growing, the community's growing, and we want to be great partners to see that happen.